Hello, everybody. Welcome to You and I Builder Live, the show where we totally know what we are doing and what is going on at all times. My name
Yep.
is Maria Gabriela, and I am here with my lovely host.
My name's Brad Tilton, and yeah, we're on the Next Experience Outbound Product Management team.
Yes, and today we have something really interesting that we're going to try to tackle today, right?
We do. So today we are going to experiment with the calendar component, which is one of our most complex components that we ship out of the box. So yeah, we're going to mess around with it, see what we can make it do. I have some extra internal documentation that I will probably have to reference. But yeah, we're going to see what we can do with it, take some suggestions if we can get the first part working, and go from there.
And while Brad gets his screen ready, I'm going to do some quick plugs. This show, we're going to start doing it the second and fourth Thursday of every month, but we're not going to be back here at the end of the month in June. We're actually going to come back in July. I think our first episode is going to be on the 13th and then on the 27th for Gabby's birthday month extravaganza. It's going to be great. We'll see. I'm going to try to lead the shows and show how much Brad has taught me over these past 5 episodes. So we're going to see how wonderfully that all goes. Also, if you're looking for not so technical content, but something great to also know, next week on the 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'm going to be hosting the Next Experience Academy. And we're going to be talking about some Vancouver and some really awesome news that Next Experience is going to get turned on by default for upgrade customers in Vancouver. If you're wondering what that means for you and what you need to know for that, come to the Academy. Again, it's going to be the 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern, and I'm going to put some links in the description once Brad takes back over. And that's it for my plugs.
All right. Earl, I think we're ready to share my screen. He knew it already. All right. So first off, I apologize if there are random sawing or nailing noises in the background. There's some remodeling going on fairly close to my computer right now. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to do some calendar stuff today. So without further ado, I have a fleet vehicle management app that I've used for all sorts of things. If you've watched any other YouTube videos, you've probably seen it. But it is basically for, scheduling and maintaining, vehicle maintenance for an enterprise. And so if you took my building a killer workspace experience knowledge lab, you will be familiar with a lot of this because you spend a lot of time in this workspace. But what we're going to do is build out a new page that has a big calendar component on it, where we want to show oil changes and tire rotations on that calendar page. And then if we can get stuff to show up, then we're going to explore some of the interactive elements of the calendar component, because it is kind of a crazy component. It is very complex. But yeah, so I have a new page created. We're going to add the calendar component to it. But first, I want to show there is a demo calendar page that comes with your instance. I think it's with the instance. I don't know
if you're interested, yeah, just a tad.
Yeah, it comes with the instance, and you can associate it with whatever experience you're working with. This noise has not happened at all today, except for right now. It's my least favorite noise that they make. Okay, so this is the demo component. You can kind of see in here, there's a lot going on with it. If we open it in a new tab, we'll be able to actually use it. Okay.
I wish this was a slide coding happy hour so we could take a shot every time it makes noise.
I mean, someone can do that. But yeah, you can see the component has it's very complex. This is all one component. There's all sorts of controls in here. So you could go to calendar or timeline. So if we want to make it a calendar, I can get a week view. So this is kind of what we're going to play with with what we're doing. If I click on it, I get, this is a modal, but you can set up a popover as well. I've got this stuff here. There's a new button you can configure, which doesn't look like it's configured, but for the most part, this works pretty well. So we're going to try to, that's enough talking about it. Let's try to make it work. So we're going to switch back into my calendar page. I posted in Slack 3 hours ago that I had no idea how this calendar component worked. I've been messing around with it for a little bit, and I have a better idea of how it works, but we're going to get into some areas where I definitely have no clue. All right. So I just added the calendar component to this page. One of the nice things that the calendar component has is lots of demo data in here. So at least you can tell how things need to be structured. So if I click into edit, it'll show me what my JSON looks like. There's a whole bunch of events in here. This JSON editor is nice. Sometimes I would rather just have raw JSON though. And so I usually go JSON, and then I'll take this and put it in like a JSON format or somewhere. But you can see there's all sorts of things going on. I did do just a little bit of pre-work. So we are going to, we're going to do something. So basically what I want to do is I want to feed this calendar, and we'll start with, I think, tire rotations. So each of my vehicles, let's just open up this app and show you what it looks like. My vehicle table.
And while he does that, if you're interested in taking his Build a Killer Workspace Experience Lab, I posted the link from Now Learning in the chat. So you should go back and check that out so you're more familiar with the rest of the workspace.
It's back.
Thanks, Earl.
I muted a little bit. All right, so I have a vehicle table here. It's got a number of fields on it, but it's got a next tire rotation and next oil change field on it. So basically, you know, anytime, that was a loud one. Anytime you get the oil change, we would project out 3 months and you'd get it done again, probably no matter the mileage, because that's generally how companies work. But so I think we'll look at the tire rotation here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a lookup records data resource. Well, it's all caps. And I'm gonna make sure I get lookup records and not lookup record. There's only one letter off, but I hit the wrong one about every other time I want to add one of those data resources. So I think Earl's going to edit out the background noise in post, is what he told me. So, all right. So we want the vehicle table. We're going to just add some conditions to it because I really only want future stuff on this calendar. So let's say after, but I do want this week. So let's say after last week. And then do I have an active field? It's always a good idea to make sure that a thing is still active. I don't. That's my fault. So we'll just make sure the tire rotation is in the future. Yes, the noise is they're like sawing into the floor apparently, which I thought they were done with. All right, so that's the conditions. Let's add some fields. So by default, when you use the lookup records data resource, it's going to grab the row data. So basically the display value for the table and the sys-ID, and then the display value field, it will also grab that by default. But we want to add some more fields here. So I think we decided tire rotation, right? Let's do that. And you do have to add these fields one at a time, which is not great. But that's how it works right now. What else do we want? Let's grab sysid. That looks good. Next tire rotation. All right, I think this will work. All right, so we have some data. What we need to do right now is we need to take this data and we need to give it to the events property in the format that it expects. So the main thing that it needs are the ID, start and end, title, and description. I don't think we actually need a description, but we're going to give it one, I think. So it's just an array of objects. These objects are pretty flat, although they can you can have sub objects, which is maybe something we'll explore at some point. But for right now, we're just going to try to get stuff to show up on the calendar. So there's a couple of ways we could do this. I could create a new scriptlet data resource. A scriptlet data resource is nice. It runs client side. It's super performant, and it takes basically just takes in an input and spits out an output. But for this one, I think we're going to do a scripted property. And so one of my decision points for something like this is a scripted property is good if I already have raw data. I just need to change it. What was that? I just need to change it into something that I want. And I'm only going to do this one time. I think a scripted property is okay. If I continually wanted to take, or if I wanted to reuse this, I might do a scriptlet and then make a composite data resource out of the two. A composite data resource means that you're just kind of putting two data resources together, and then you can kind of reuse that composite data resource in other places. So for this one, we're just going to write a script. So let's go ahead and do this. I think I can cheat because I already wrote something similar today. But let's try it out. So I know my what is it? Vehicle. Let's go vehicle array. It's going to be API.data. I can't move the modal around. That is annoying. I think it's going to be called lookup records _1 and results.
It wasn't just vehicle array? It was in the list.
No, it's vehicle array showed up because I already typed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the autocomplete from the scripted properties is not quite as good as if you were binding directly in a property.
So what I'm hearing is Brad Tilton says, don't name your data lookup so that you know it's always going to be _1, _2, etc. Right? That sounds like a best practice.
Yeah, if I was really trying to use some best practices, I would have renamed this data resource. Yeah, but I did not.
Just think, what would Brad do?
And then do something else. All right. All right, I think this is what we want to do. So now we're going to loop through some things. Do I remember how to do this? Oh, I think I need to do this, right? Is it I is less than vehicle array dot length? Somebody tell me if I did this wrong. So let's go. We're going to have a calendar object in there. I guess that could be a constant. Still not totally comfortable with ES6, but we're going to try to use it. So I need an ID. So what we're going to do for the ID is I think we'll use the sys ID because I think it just has to be unique. And so that's going to be no, it's a vehicle array. Let me name it something that long.
Stack Overflow says your loop is right.
Fun. All right. And sysid and the lookup records data resource always returns an object for each field name with a value and a display value. Sysid is probably going to be the same. So we need an ID. The ID start, end, and title. Let's go title.
Yes.
Title. And for title, let's make it a combination of things. And so that's going to be, there's this weird UIB thing that's been happening to me lately.
Oh, so that wasn't just a visual thing from you sharing your screen?
No, it actually is sometimes clicking in a different spot. I haven't had time to really run it down yet.
Oh, interesting.
So title, let's do this. Let's make it the vehicle name. Display value, and then we'll say, so this will be like 2022 Ford F-150, and we'll say tire rotation. And then the next one's going to be start. And that's going to be just a date. So I think we call this tire rotation. Oh, and I think we're going to want to do the same thing here. This is going to be a combination of things. So what it's expecting is it takes a few different types of date time parameters, but one of them is year, month, day, hour, seconds, and so that's what we're going to pass here. And so I have typed the word, I saw your chat, I have typed the word vehicle so many times and I continually misspell it and it has lost a lot of meaning. I think we want to go, let's try 04. I think I'm doing this right, the GMT. And then we're going to copy that. And then we'll go 12. All right, what are the chances this actually works? It's not going to work because we have to push it. Calendar, array, push. All right, let's see if this works. All right, so I'm going to save. And then we'll probably have to mess with a bunch of settings after this, but let's see if this works. All right, that's not today. So let's go to today. Let's change it to the week or the month. Did not work. All right. Does anyone have any ideas why it didn't work?
And you're 100% sure you're...
Oh, something's wrong. What is this error?
Do you need the value of tire rotation?
I do. That is the problem. Or that is a problem.
And you're sure those are the field names?
I'm pretty sure. We'll see it in the next tire rotation. There we go. All right, so I think I am returning it as an array. So it's an array of objects. That calendar array is what we're returning. So display value, and then it was next tire rotation. Yes, generally my resolution is much higher than this, so I can see the data and the modals, but all right, let's go. We're refreshing. Let's go to today, switch to a week.
There it is.
So we have something that showed up. So let's mess around with the, so we have some data. How much? Yeah, so we've got some different data here. What do we, so I like a week view when I'm looking at things, but I don't need my week to start at midnight or my time to start at midnight every day. That feels like something we're going to be able to change. I kind of want it to default to this week view, and I kind of want it to start on today and not 3 years ago. So let's take a look at what options we have here. So I think, context date, that looks good. So let's set that to, I think we would want to set that to today. Let's see.
Are you going to hard code it? Yeah.
I shouldn't hard code it. Let's see what we have available to us. Session. Do we have anything in the session properties maybe? What if we use, what's timeout? I don't know. Let's see if that works. I guess I could see if that is actually a thing. Time zones, format, locale. I think, oh, here it is. Let's set this to week instead of day. I'm just guessing that that's what that is, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So the date format, first day of week, 0, that looks fine.
So Dimitar wants to know, could we use try catch in the UI builder script, for instance?
Yeah, absolutely. You can use a try catch. Which eventually we might have gotten to.
No way that worked.
So some things worked. So it did start on today. That is crazy that my random
that shouldn't have worked.
Properties thing worked. I want to see what that actually. What does that look like that it's returning there? This is one of the things I like to do. Let's add a stylized text up here and the header slot. I don't want to use a preset, and let's go context session properties session timeout.
Can you use the user property there in order to select the user's time zone?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll have time zone, but it'll have some things, which, yes, we should take a look at that. So where does that go?
Did you refresh?
No. I think I used open, right? Yeah. Huh. So let's add something at the bottom. Well, the other thing we can do is just log it, but oh well.
How would you log it?
I would, well, let's do it. So
you have to add a script.
Yeah. So I'd go logging, and then I think we go API.context session
properties.
Yeah. Let's just log that whole thing.
Oh, cool. Man, throwback to this one really tricky portal where it was like 3 a.m. and I just deliriously added JSON.stringify to everything just so I wouldn't have to see if it would work. Good times.
So what I'm going to do is there's a page event for when the page is ready. So I'm just going to add this little logging statement to that page event. One of the nice things, I think this was a Tokyo thing, was in a client script, you can see all of the events that are triggering it, which is pretty nice.
Oh.
So let's...
Earl, do the thing.
What's the thing?
Hide your face.
Oh yeah, I'm blocking the... There we go.
How does session timeout work?
30.
It's just 30.
So it didn't actually. Maybe it's if you pass it a bad value, it just defaults to today.
Maybe, can you leave it empty and see what happens?
Let's try that. That's funny. See, if we hadn't logged it, we would have just thought that returns a real thing. All right, so let's just, does it tell me anything? Ooh, let's see if...
learn more.
This is dangerous. I don't think that... So it's there. The problem is, yeah, it just doesn't... This is one of the problems we have with some component documentation, is it doesn't tell you the JSON format that it's expecting, right? Just array of events. But for, what was that called? Context date, selected date on calendar. So no, it doesn't really tell me. I have, if I look at my fancy documentation, what does it say?
Ailey has a good idea. Maybe it's the number of minutes till your session times out after inactivity. So
I think that is what that property is giving us. I don't know what...
why would it work?
What we're getting here. So let's context date. So you can give it UTC, glide date, an ISO date, or a moment, which I don't know what the context of that is. Interesting. Okay. So
let's log the user.
All right, let's log the user. And I do want to set this date to today. We're going to figure out how to do that. Click in the right spot. It was still session. So for user, we do get some good stuff, but I don't know if it'll give us the date time. Where did you go?
Earl, do the thing. Thank you, Earl.
Here, let's make it bigger. We have all sorts of user info. So hopefully my password doesn't show up here. What do we have? Workspace notifications. So a lot of workspace specific user preferences, it looks like, which makes sense. We're in a workspace. Date format, I don't have one set probably, maybe. But maybe we can use that. I wonder if I go preferences and set a date format, if that'll work. Set a display. I do have a date format. Wow, that's odd. Oh, we have a lot. We have a lot of things.
Oh, do we have the entire? Oh, time zone.
I don't know. What is this? What was the name of this array? Preferences.
Oh, it's your user preferences.
It's some sort of preferences. It may be user preferences. And then we have all of my roles. That's helpful. My username, sysid,
no password.
That's helpful. Oh, no password. That'd be rough.
That would be terrifying.
Date time format. So yeah, let's do that. Let's set the date time format. Oh, time format and date format. We'd have to do it separately.
Well, at least we can do the time zone. Let's do that. And then see what happens when we leave the thing blank.
All right, time zone. All right. Context date, time zone will be context dot session dot.
Oh, it shows us everything.
Yeah, I guess we could have just done this.
Oh, neat.
It did.
It changed it.
Yeah.
And then what happens with the context state being empty? It defaults. So it probably got a wrong, when it got the funky thingy, it just defaulted to today.
Yeah, I think it did default to today because the demo data just defaulted it to a long time ago. All right, one more thing I want to do. Now we don't, since we got the time zone right, we don't have to worry about offsets. So I'm going to make it 8 to 5. I'm going to say this tire rotation is going to take a whole day. Oh, that's still not right. Oh, because it's Los Angeles. I am in Central Time. Ooh, and how did that work?
That's cool.
Is it because I gave it the my date time? Oh, I like this blank one. All right, so GMT changes.
Scroll down.
Yeah.
Oh, but it shows up with that.
Yeah, so it changes if I tell it GMT, which it should, right? If I change the time zone, it should change the time. Okay.
So then scroll down. Is the red line still there at the very bottom with GMT?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, it's there. Cool. We just didn't see it before because we didn't scroll down. The blank one is great.
Why is
that wouldn't pass UAT?
I'm sure we can make it go away if we had enough time. Oh, this is it. Available time zones.
Oh.
Maybe we just get rid of that one.
Yeah.
All right. So we have some stuff in here. There's also this contextual panel we can put things in.
Sorry. Earl, do the thing.
Come on, Siri. Okay.
The other way. Yeah.
There's this contextual panel. Enable new button. Let's make the new button do something. Also, why does this not show up anywhere?
It just doesn't.
There's a slot, so it should be somewhere. I don't know why it doesn't show up. Oh well. So new button. Let's see how that guy works. So if I go to event and add event mapping, we have all sorts of events. I bet one of them says something like new button clicked. Nope. I was wrong. Grid clicked for, oh, that's right. So one of the things you can do is click in here,
wow,
and things happen. Here, let's mess around with grid clicked for new event. That seems more fun. So the first thing that I do, if I have not used an event handler before or an event before, is I log its payload. Let's do the same thing again. All right, so I have my event logging client script, and we'll go ahead and add that here.
So people in the chat, pop quiz. I'm asking for a friend here. What does the null and the forward do at the end of that logging statement? Let's see if chat knows. I totally know the answer, of course.
I'm pretty sure I learned that from Chuck on a live code one time. All right, well, let's give us some more space. So if I click, I should get, there we go.
Earl, do the thing. Not that thing. Thank you.
So we get an ID. We know when it starts. We know when it ends. We get the milliseconds. I believe this is the most performant way to add calendar entries. Is this moment? Is that what that's called? I don't know. Interesting. So how would we take this and translate it? Yeah, so we get something here. I think for our use case, it doesn't actually make sense to be able to create an event like this. Probably. We probably need to open a modal and ask for a bunch more information where the new button might make more sense. So let's abandon that and try the new button. Let's start with the documentation and see if the documentation tells us how to use the new button. Is it a property?
Enable new button.
Okay. So it's enabled. Enable new calendar click. Ooh, so let's turn that off because we've decided that doesn't really work for our use case. Is there?
Oh, it was in the config. It's a toggle. You just scrolled a bit too fast. Because you see enable new button?
Yes, that one's good. And this is the one that we disabled.
Oh, you did it? I didn't see that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, it's down at the bottom.
Earl didn't do the thing.
What we really want to do is tell it what to do when you click the new button, which I would normally think is an event, since that new button is kind of built into drag in for new, event double clicked, event new, grid clicked for new event. We disabled that.
And Astrid got the answer. Earl, please feature the answer. Thank you very much. Parameter 2 is a replacer function array. Parameter 3 adds new lines and spaces as per the number. I totally knew that. I'm glad that you learned that recently too, Brad.
Yes. I don't know that it was recent, but all right. I have not moved the screen for a while. Let's see. Man, drag new event. I saw somebody mentioned it might be a declarative action. I kind of hope it's not. I think I'm at a loss for this one. That's unfortunate. Here, let's, I don't think that new button was working on one of those other pages, but let's see. Did it have any events? Okay. Event moved, event slide. What's this client script do? That's some fun, strange demo data there. Oh, it's all random. It's a random sentence that it creates. All right. Well, this is a helpful little page here. Event click modal doesn't show anything. All right, well, that didn't work. So let's pivot to something else.
Poor Ankit asked back in May 12th if anyone knew how to configure it on the forums, and no one has answered.
The new button. We'll find it. I know people. We'll get it.
We'll find it for them. We got you, man. Or friend.
But yeah, I mean, the main problem with it is that it's not its own component. And so like we could get rid of it and enable it. All right, we're just gonna have to, what does pop over enable do? Oh, that's right.
Quick question.
Sure.
Can you scroll up real quick? Okay, under security, allow create is true. That's good. It wouldn't be a security issue.
No, I just need to dive into the source code probably. It is not obvious.
Someone suggests maybe we inspect the button element to see if there's something which might be helpful.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not all that useful with the UI Builder pages because of the shadow DOM and everything. Inspecting the button well, I mean, we can definitely do it, but I don't think it's going to help us much. Right, it's not actually doing anything, so this is all we get. Well, what else do we want to do? What if we add something where I can click on one of these, open a modal, and then change the date? That seems like something we might be able to do in the next 10 minutes.
It was a good guess, Dimitar.
All right, so let's do something with the event clicked. So first we're going to create a modal. And we'll just see if we can get it to pop up first. Move event. Sure. So let's see if when we click the calendar component or we click one of the entries, we can get that to grid clicked for new event. That's not what we want. We want event clicked. So let's do two things. Let's open the modal. And then let's also add our client script so we can see what's in that event. All right, so we're there. If I click on it, it did open the modal, so we got the right event.
Quick question. Do you know how to remove that maintenance plan event that's there? Is that just default data?
That's a great question.
We had someone ask that on sndevs.com, a great place to go for help. Then nobody answered.
The maintenance plan. I mean, I think probably we can get rid of it. So we have all sorts of like demo data in here, right? There's security, available views, view settings, spans, timeline section. Let's see. I mean, all of these things probably should be removed.
Oh, there it is, maintenance at the very bottom.
Oh, there we go. Let's do this.
Hang on, I'm going to take a screenshot.
Let's get rid of it all.
Now it's under Mark's spans.
I don't know, because it didn't change. Great. Mark spans. Interesting. Expected but got object. It's a fun message. Okay, so we're not going to spend too much time on that right now. We were doing a click thing. Yes, where we got this back. So that event does give us a pretty good amount of information here. We got all of the stuff that we passed it. So let's see if this works. Let's click into our modal. Let's create a new client state parameter for active event ID. That'll be blank. And then when we click on that thing, we will set the active event ID to, was it payload? Hopefully we get that exposed here. Event, nope. All right, what is it? Event dot ID. Okay. Yep. So that should give us the sys of the event. And then in my modal, we're going to try adding the form component and see if that works. I do want the form controller. I set some test values for us. I don't actually want those values to be there. Oh, I should have said no. That's all right. So this is what we're going to do. I'm just talking to myself at this point. So the table, I think, is called, that is the name. We will just hard code it in there. The sys is going to be state, the one we just created. I don't think I need any of these other ones. We're just going to use the default view. No context. I don't think I actually have to do this, but it bugged me that they created all these parameters. Okay, so what we just did was we added the form component here, and then when you click on a calendar entry, we're going to pop the modal. We're going to set the sys of the record we're looking at, and hopefully we get the form for that vehicle so we could change the date if we want to. Let's see if this works. Absolutely did not work. Okay.
Catastrophic failure. Heck yes.
Why did it not work? All right, let's try again. It's possible the calendar component and the, oh no, there we go. Hey,
Yay!
that actually worked. It says Chevy Tahoe. Yeah. All right. So we click on an event, we get the form. I think the next thing to do would be to add some buttons, which we could go ahead and do. Let's go. We probably want to add, is there a form button action, maybe action bar? Yeah. All right, let's see if we just set this data record table. We're gonna have to redo that part. Or no, that's, I don't know, that's from the controller. All right, let's refresh. All right, so if I go, that was, let's try changing that to the 14th. Save. All right, so let's refresh. It did move. Okay. But that was terrible. We don't want it to have to do anything like that. So how do we, oh, this is what we do. All right. So the form controller fires a whole bunch of events, I think. Yeah. So I think if we look for record data fetch, form status, is there a save? Update the configuration menu, record property change. No, field value. I think we can probably use one of these, like record data fetch maybe. And then if it's the first load, we do something different than when it's saved, but we'd have to look a little closer at that one. But basically, I think what we'd want to do, since we don't actually like control the button, right? The button gets added through the action bar. And that's kind of a declarative action. There's probably a couple of different ways we could do that. But I think the way that I would want to do it is to use the data resource, and whenever the data resource saves, close the modal and reload the page. But maybe that will be a next time activity, or maybe we'll, maybe I'll fix this and put some code out or something. Although that may not happen.
Awesome. So I actually think we got a lot done, considering Brad 3 hours ago was very unsure about himself.
I'm still pretty unsure about myself with the calendar component. But one of the reasons we wanted to do this was because we are getting a lot of questions around the calendar component. I know our internal teams want to make the documentation better. So for me, one of the reasons I wanted to do this was kind of seeing where our documentation is lacking. And the easiest way to do that is to actually try to build something, which is what we did here. So I have some pretty good ideas of where we can make things better. We'll probably start with a community article on some of these things, and then get the docs updated as well. But thanks everybody for joining. Any closing remarks? Oh, we do have a question here. We had a question: if you wanted to visualize a particular page within the modal, you can create a viewport modal. So a viewport will show a page collection. So I'm going to click back. Oh, and my screen's not up anymore.
Earl, do the thing.
Do the thing. Thanks, Earl. So if you open UIB in Utah forward, you have your experiences and then your page collections. So page collections are basically sets of pages that you can build that can then be reused across multiple experiences within viewports and tabs. So if you did have a page that you wanted to reuse in multiple places, you'd probably want to create a page collection for that page, or create a page within a page collection, and then you can show that page within a viewport. So the answer to your question is no, we can't just show a page in a viewport. It has to be a page in a page collection. So it has to be specifically built for being shown in a viewport. There are some limitations to the data that your page collection and your parent page can exchange with each other. And that also has to do with what kind of viewport you're using, I think. I believe that like the viewport tab can do more than like the like a viewport modal, but I don't know that for sure, actually. But yeah.
So thank you guys so much for watching today. 2 last quick plugs. Our next episode is not going to be in a couple of Thursdays. It's going to be on July 13th, same time, same place. And if you want to listen and hear more about turning on Next Experience and what that's going to be like, kind of see a before and after comparison between Core UI and Next Experience, tune into the Platform Academy on the 21st at 11 a.m. Eastern. I posted a link earlier in the chat. I hope to see you guys there. But thank you all so much for hanging out with us and learning about calendar components. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.